Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and by no means would I ever host Thanksgiving. I am not Susie Homemaker by any means. And Amy says that's ridiculous. So she has some pointers for us.
I do. So first of all, Thanksgiving is my absolute favorite day of the year. And I am one of the minority of absolutely crazy people, Cheryl tells me, who loves cooking Thanksgiving dinner. I absolutely love doing it. But I think one of the tricks is I take a really organized approach to it, and I don't try to do everything in one day, and I've been doing it a long time, which has helped me develop a real system. And so we have out on one of our articles on EnVibeLife.com, go check it out, where I show you what my system is, starting with a couple weeks before Thanksgiving to what I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to be ready for it. But another thing we talked about is Cheryl says that you don't know what you need.
It's overwhelming. I don't know what I would need. And I have to tell you about this article Amy put out. I read it and thought, she makes it so accessible. Maybe I could, but this is going to help.
And I think it's more important this year than ever because a lot of people are having to adjust Thanksgiving plans. Maybe you can't go to grandmother's house who normally would have prepared your meal, or you're getting people together in a certain geographic area, or just your immediate family. You can do this.
My family's going to starve if we can't go somewhere.
I got you. Okay. So I do think it's important to have some of the right stuff in your kitchen. And I'm a kitchen nerd. And so for a long time, every year, I'd buy one or two things as my Thanksgiving gift for myself, knowing I'd be cooking Thanksgiving dinner. So I do have a nice collection, but I think I can help you know the few things you need to have because you still have time to borrow them if you don't have them.
Good. Because I might just be borrowing Amy's.
Okay. Thing number one is a stock pot. So you need a really large pot if you're going to make your own chicken broth or chicken stock, which I think
is huge.
It is huge. And that's what it takes.
Okay.
And so I do think this is indispensable.
Do you put a whole chicken in that?
A whole chicken and a whole bunch of vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe next week
How long does that take to make a broth?
I let it simmer for a couple hours on the stove to really, you bring it to a boil, reduce it down to simmer. It sits for a couple hours. We can do a video. We'll do another video about that upcoming.
And is that so much better than the chicken broth I buy on the...
So much better.
Okay.
And more packed with nutrients.
Okay.
However, if this is overwhelming to you, don't be intimidated by the chicken broth.
Okay.
I mean, that's tip number one about everything. Anything that seems overwhelming to you, feel free to buy some stuff too. I mean, I've been doing this for years and I still have a gravy starter I love from a gourmet store.
Which had no idea what that was when I read your article.
Yeah.
I was like, gravy starter, what's that?
My family will not release it because it's so yummy. So even though I could do it myself now, I don't because that's so good and it does save time on the day of Thanksgiving. So, feel free to buy some things or outsource some things and cook others. And that's a good introduction too. I have fully... think that cooking your own chicken broth is indispensable. You need a good stock pot if you do. Second thing, of course, is a roasting pan. For your turkey, you need something large enough to hold a turkey your size. If it has a roasting rack, that will help because you want the air to be able to circulate around all sides of the turkey when you're cooking. So this is probably the number one item to have a roasting pan. And really, go get that now before everyone else realizes it a couple days before Thanksgiving.
Or, can I fess up? I think I've been given these as gifts and given them away.
Well, start giving them to me.
Or our grocery store will do collect the stamps and you can get these pots and pans. I always get this one. I'm like, what do you do with that?
So there you go. Email or message Cheryl and she might be able to hook you up.
I can give you some pots and pans. I win them from the grocery store all the time.
Okay. And then, of course, just any various random casserole dishes, serving dishes, and this is also just another, it can be used as a roasting pan casserole dish. It's really a multi-functional pan, I think. And then the other thing I say you absolutely cannot cook Thanksgiving dinner without or roast a turkey without is a meat thermometer. And so I have one that's a digital readout where I can put the probe in the turkey in the oven and set the reader on the countertop, and we have one of these linked in our shop page on EnVibeLife.com. But if you don't have this digital kind, whatever meat thermometer you have will work, but you do not want an undercooked turkey because you really can get sick from that. So this is really important when you're cooking poultry, especially.
So here's my question. How far in do you stick that?
You want to put it in the breast or in the white meat part of the turkey. You don't want it to touch bone. So far enough in, it depends on the size of your turkey, how many inches that is, to be in the good meaty part of the breast, but don't let it touch bone because you'll get an inaccurate reading.
That's good to know.
But if all of this seems overwhelming, I also want to add that don't be deterred by that, because you can at most party stores and like a major party chain
Grocery
retailer
store has those too.
They don't necessarily have this large of ones, but the party stores do have catering pans, and these large aluminum catering pans can serve for a lot of these different purposes too, for a really low cost and really low cleanup when you have a big group of people over. So I often have one or two things in these pans, either because what I have isn't the right size or I've run out of dishes, or just because I say, I don't want to have to scrape the dressing off the pan, so I'm going to put it in the aluminum pan. One day a year you can cheat like that. I'm normally a bigger proponent of not throwing away what you bring in, but again, take the stress off yourself, because the important thing is getting your family around the table. It's not, did I have the exact right pan, or did I not bring in desserts from a bakery, or maybe even a casserole from a favorite restaurant or bakery. So give yourself that permission. And then the other thing, of course, you need to think about is how many people you have coming. And do you have enough dishes for everyone? Because that is something, there are some really low cost places out there. I mean, I've ordered glass dishes on Amazon for maybe $1 a plate before. So you still have time to get those in for yourself, or ask your neighbor or friend or whoever who's not going to be hosting if you can borrow some of their dishes, and it's fine to combine them together. So I think that's a good starter kit, or a place to start before you are looking to cook that Thanksgiving dinner. But it'll make all the difference in the world if you have the right tools. Of course, a good set of knives. You want a good set of knives and cutting board also, but you got this. You can do it.
Sounds doable.
Happy Thanksgiving.